What's going on, everybody? Disappointing Popcorn is back. I'm Connor. That's Sean. You know the drill.
What's
I
going
don't know
on,
which way
guys?
to
Am I here? No, yeah. I
point.
feel like you always point the wrong way.
Every
But
time,
it's
dude.
fine.
Every
It's
time.
fine.
I go
It's
like
fine.
this because you're on my right on my screen, so I go this way, and he's over here.
Whatever's better for the viewers. Make it right for the viewers. Yeah,
He's over here.
that's good. It doesn't
Okay.
look right for me, but that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. The viewers, our fans, you guys are the ones that count. What we're here to talk
All
about
that matters.
today is Disclosure Day because it is kind of controversial in the sense of like general public opinion on it. And it's also controversial between the two of us. This is kind of like the first movie we disagree on because I, for one, actually hate it generally. And Sean, you really liked it a lot. So let's figure out why.
Yeah,
Let's talk about
this
why.
has caused I would say a bit of a divergence in our company. There's a bit of a standoff, which, by the way, like, I love.
Consists of you
And I
rage
think
baiting me consistently.
Oh, it's the greatest sci-fi film of the past
Okay,
50
alright.
years. So let's get this right. Yeah, no, I'm
That's
kidding.
a joke.
But no, I really did love it, and we'll get into it. But as soon as I saw the reviews drop for this movie, I saw the audience reaction. I think I texted you this like before I saw it. I'm kind of stoked that it's divisive. I like if it came out and it was just kind of like, everybody liked it. It was everybody agreed with it. I don't know. Like, I feel like you're doing something wrong, especially in the sci-fi genre. I always find when it's a very just kind of like I'm not going to talk too much shit about Project Hail Mary.
I was gonna say, I knew that's
movie.
exactly where you were going. You were gonna shit on
But
Project Hail Mary. You were gonna shit
And
on
I
Project
did,
Hail
and I
Mary.
did enjoy it, but it was very much like, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna say it's very brainy, and we'll get to Disclosure Day shortly and why there's like this difference between like knowing and understanding things. I do feel like Project Hail Mary towards the end did get to a place where I did feel like emotionally connected, and I did kind of dig where it left like Ryan Gosling's character. But I did, like, in general, I did feel like it was, a pretty by the books. You kind of know what to expect, and everybody kind of loved it for that reason. You had the Rocky guy. He's adorable, and he's like, I'm Rocky. I'm sad and alone. And then Ryan Gosling's like, yo, same. Let's relate and let's get out of this together. And it is really fun. I really enjoy that movie. But I didn't really like after Project Hail Mary, I didn't really like think a lot. Like when I think of like my favorite sci-fi movies of all time, I think of Arrival. Like, Arrival's the first one that comes to mind. Didn't even know it was because like I saw that movie at the Marquee Cinemas with my dad.
Shout out Marquee Cinema.
Almost shout out Marquee Cinema.
Shout out Marquee Cinema. Good spot.
Whatever it is. Whatever number. Great spot. Used to be. But no, I saw it there of him, and I remember like walking into the bathroom, and I was like, holy shit, this is it's changing how I see extraterrestrials and all this. And somebody walks into the bathroom, and I like, my dad was like next to me, right? Somebody walks in, he's like, that was a fucking piece of shit. Like, I remember it like vividly of this guy being really pissed. And like kind of an older fella. And I'm just like, me and my dad were like, what? Like, we went in the car after Arrival and we're just like, that like is a game changer. Like, this changed how I see sci-fi in general. And I think the movie, it's safe to say that Arrival's kind of become a classic. It's definitely
I would
up
say
there amongst
almost
the
not
best
talked about
sci-fi
enough
films ever made.
classic. And I think it's because Interstellar exists, but I think if Interstellar didn't exist, it's kind of like the same thing as The Martian. Like, I think we would talk about The Martian a lot more, and we would talk about Arrival a lot more if Interstellar didn't exist. Because when anybody ever talks about like sci-fi movie, they immediately go to Interstellar from like the 2010s.
Right.
And I think Martian and Arrival almost deserve like just as many flowers. Like, Martian, maybe not as much sci-fi. Like, it's space and Mars and science, but it's not alien adjacent, where like Arrival is. Even Interstellar, there's no aliens, but they go to a lot of alien like planets, very like multiple planets in like faraway galaxies and such. Let's get into Disclosure Day.
Because now we've kind of laid the groundwork of sci-fi.
Exactly.
And I think, and we talked about it before, like, I think, maybe like, his latest films, like The Fablemans and stuff, maybe, didn't click with you as much, which is fair. Like, I think that, that's a movie that it did for me, but I do think you kind of have to buy into his story and his perspective and what he's going for. And frankly, I kind of feel the same about Disclosure Day. It is a movie that, like, it's not going to meet you where you're at. You have to meet it where it's at. You got to get on its wavelength. And I think that is trouble. And that is an issue for a lot of people, especially because of the marketing, which I honestly think the marketing was really rough in hindsight. Having seen the movie, a lot of those trailers showed crucial pieces of the plot that I would have loved to not have known.
Yeah.
Like those things. I'll give an example. Spoiler alert. Beep, spoiler. Beep, beep. The best scene in the trailer is the camera pan around the deers and the animals that then transitions into the aliens. That told me right there, having watched the trailer, that the aliens are disguising themselves as animals. Like I already had that implant in my head, and then it happens in the movie, and it's like, it should have been a bigger reveal. But the fucking marketing team was like, no, like, we have to show this for some reason. Which, by the way, I remember when that trailer came out, I texted you, I'm like, dude, this shot is incredible. Like, I think you and I were like,
awesome.
holy shit.
But imagine seeing that actually happening. That to me is like
as a revelation. Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say, it's kind of like as if Sinners revealed, like, remember that moment in Sinners when like it pans and the width changes. You know what I'm talking about? The aspect ratio.
Oh, the aspect
changes.
ratio. Yeah, sure.
And then the vampires get in. That's like showing that scene in a trailer, like, and just taking all of like the cool factor out of it. And it's a little bit more egregious, I think, in Disclosure Day because it's actually showing how the aliens are hiding. But I think that's one of the problems for me with the movie, like, overall, is that like I watched the trailer and now I like know, okay, aliens are for sure like massively involved in this and they are real, and that's like what the whole plot revolves around. Because like in the first trailer they really don't show you much of anything. And to be honest, I think it would have been almost like much cooler from a viewership standpoint if they didn't show the footage and stuff of the aliens or confirm that the aliens exist until the world finds out at the end. That's what it felt like to me when I'm watching the ending scene when the news broadcaster's going and like revealing everything and like everyone else is watching it. I was like, dude, imagine if this whole time you don't fully know, like, it's like extraterrestrial adjacent and like whatever, but you don't know for sure like what the information is. Like, it would have been a lot cooler, I think, if they led you on in that way, and then at the end you find out, holy shit, the whole time this is about aliens and they're not actually bad. And who knows, maybe logistically that wouldn't work out because a lot of the plot is driven by the fact that it is aliens and like extraterrestrials and things like that. I just think that there might have been a better way to go about it, and maybe that would have just been not having that scene in the trailer, because to me that takes away a lot of the oomph of that scene. Especially because it's about her as a little girl. Like, like you see it, her as a little girl getting abducted and everything. Yeah. You're like, now I'm waiting for that the whole movie. I'm like, and they're teasing it, and they're like, what happened to you as a kid? Oh, you don't remember anything before you were 10? I'm like, yeah, because she got freaking abducted. We saw it in the trailer.
Yeah, I think that the marketing is rough. I think that, and like, it's almost like I can't really say it's a critique of the movie because it's technically not the movie, it's the marketing. But it definitely, I could argue, could have led people there. This is my main crux of the movie. Now that I've had a few days to settle on it, I think the movie, and not even just the movie, I think Steven Spielberg's biggest like life dilemma question in his head growing up and for years is the balance between knowing and understanding. Knowing being fact, this is what we know, this is the lore behind this is what we do, and understanding being empathy, being with all this that we know, with the knowing that we know, how do we respond, how do we react? This movie to me felt like him examining that balance. And if you remember in The Fabelmans, his parents mirror that. Like, his dad is a mathematician, electrical engineer. And he's the more, like stout, just like kind of like, stoic kind of presence in his life. Whereas his mother is like the artist. She's like the piano player. She's all into the arts and empathy and understanding people. And Stevens had this back and forth in his life. He's had this balance. And I think Disclosure Day, and this is like why I like love this movie. And I low-key want to talk about Close Encounters. I don't want to spoil it for you. And
yeah, don't spoil it for me if possible.
I'll keep Close Encounters, I'll try to keep it very vague with that. I think Disclosure Day specifically is him tackling this idea of what is more valuable, and like in Disclosure Day specifically, like you have Emily Blunt's character, I was about to say her name, Margaret.
Yeah.
And then you have Daniel, which is Josh O'Connor's character. They, in my opinion, are the representations of these things. Like Josh O'Connor's character, Daniel, is the knowing. He's the knowledge, he's the math, he's the brilliance in that sense. He knows this language and everything, but he's also sheltered and he's always on the run and there's always a panic and he's never how do I say it? Like he doesn't have that understanding yet and that empathy. He just knows that he has this information and that he wants it to get out. He doesn't the bullshit of the whole government is the ones that get to decide what we know and what we don't know is bullshit, because it's just like, hey, dude, like it doesn't matter about the knowing, about the actual thing. It's the understanding. It's how we react to it. It's how we interpret it. It's how we interpret these beings. So like, I want to talk about it sucks. I want to talk about Close Encounters, but I can't. Yeah. But like, I'll be vague. I'll be vague. Like they tackle this specifically in that movie in ways that I did not expect. And like, even like so, and I think this is so emblematic of this sort of lifelong thesis statement that he's making with Disclosure Day. In 1999, he did like a director's roundtable thing or whatever. It was like live. And the host of it, the interviewer or whatever, goes, your father was a mathematician. Your father was a mathematician, your mother was a musician. And in the end of this movie, I'm going to try to reword it so I don't spoil anything. Okay. It is it's essentially representing your mother and your father. Like it is that balance between the two of like, you need both. You can't just have empathy and you can't just have the understanding, because then people are going to think you're crazy. You have no evidence to back it up. But you can't also just have the information. You have to understand. Detached. And exactly. And I think understanding also means throwing away your dispositions about things, about aliens and extraterrestrials, and are they evil? And like, if they're evil, why would they travel like multiple, solar systems to get to, I think Steven said this himself. He's like, why would the aliens, if they were evil, go all these solar systems away just to like blow us up? Like there's just like, and I think Arrival honestly tackled that in a way too. Like the Arrival came in and all the militaries and stuff are like, dude, we got fucked. We got blow shit up. And she's like, hey,
like, let's understand.
Let me figure this language out. But that's the beauty. That language technically is the knowing. It's how Amy Adams interprets it. That's the understanding. It's her tying it to her, the loss of her daughter and all these things and like what life's really about. And like, dude, I'm starting to like, now building connections between Arrival and Disclosure Day.
Yeah, and I love the connection you built with Fabelmans and this as well. Like the whole, like, the knowing and the understanding. Like, I actually really like that a lot. And I think, but to compare it to Arrival, like how you're doing right now, I think this is a good setup I just feel like Arrival does this way better. Like, Arrival tackles this concept of finding out about alien life forms and, like, alien life forms come to our planet, they're not evil, even though we feel super threatened by them. Like, how do we grapple with that? And, like, what does that mean for us? Like, that's a big question I feel like in Arrival is, what is aliens coming here and, like, giving us tools to thrive as, like, a human race? Like, what does that mean for, like, humanity, for religion, for science? Like, what are those questions? And I feel like Spielberg, this is, like, my issue with the whole, like, religion part of it. Like, I don't mind that being a question because, like, I think that's a question everybody who, like has some type of religious background has thought about in their lifetime. Like, if aliens were real, like, what does that mean for creation? You know what I mean? What does that mean for that larger question? And I just don't love how Spielberg went about it in this. Like, I don't love that it was just Josh O'Connor's girlfriend is a nun who, like, they go to the nuns and whatever and they stay there. And then it feels like he's, like, bringing this question up. Like, she's like, but how do I know it's the right thing to do? Like, if God created us, like, we're not his supreme beings then? And, like, again, these are all, like, really interesting questions, I think. But the problem is, like, I feel like he doesn't really answer it because, like, maybe there is no answer to it. Like, that's, like, a massive concept that, like, I don't even know if we can wrap our brains around. But I feel like his response is just, oh, well, in the book of Genesis, it actually just says on earth. So we're good. We're cool. And that, to me, feels like super cop-out. Like, feels super shoehorned in there just because he wanted to make a statement on aliens mixing with religion. Like, would that be able to coexist? And his response is, yeah, in the book of Genesis, they said that we're the greatest creation on earth, so we're cool. Like, that's totally fine. Aliens can exist and be better than us, not on this planet. Like, it just feels to me like he went with the easiest possible. Because then you're thinking, in the book, oh, it's a play on words. I get
But,
it.
but
Like,
I,
I don't
I
love
think
that. I
that
don't love that.
point is I think that point is to say that, like, how do I say this?
And even like my thing too is like while you're thinking about that, my thing with the nun is like she's just like, yeah, that's cool. Trust me, we're fine with that. Like, I don't think every religious person would just be automatically fine with that. The nun is like, yeah, we're
I
cool.
don't think
it
she
doesn't
is
hurt.
every religious person though. She is just one person. You know what I mean?
Right, but I'm
she is
saying like
just
the way he says it sounds like it represents religion as a whole.
Right.
And that's
but
how he
I think what
presents
he's
it,
trying
but
to
it's not.
say is we should be more interested in the understanding and the empathy of things than the thinking of, like, let's say religious dogma, right? I mean, that really just religion in general right now today, there's this big separation of religious dogma and the knowing of things and the actual, like, spiritual understanding that we have personally
Right.
with God. And there's this big
Understanding the
separation.
words on a page versus like just reading them, kind of. is
Right,
what-
and I think like the sister saying that was just to say like, and honestly, I dug the line, but like I do think it's her just saying like, dude, to acknowledge that God exists is to acknowledge that we're not the only ones that exist. Like there's,
I do
mean,
like the
there's a
line
big-
when she says like he made such a vast universe. Like, how would we be the only ones in it? Like, that's cool. Dug that.
right.
I just
And
think overall
honestly,
it's not delivered well.
yeah, and I that's fair. I just loved it because of her going to this older like sister and being like what I don't understand. Like, how does our religion? How do we grapple with this? And I think it's to grapple with wonder. It's to just say, hey, like accept the unknown. Like find comfort in the uncomfortable. Find that's where I think we become our best selves. And I think that's what Steven's trying to say. Is if we combine the knowing of things, what we know as truth, whatever, data, statistics, whatever the fuck, but we combine that with empathy and understanding human beings. Not that I have to agree with you, like this movie. We don't agree
Right.
with
We
this
don't
movie.
have to agree.
But
Right.
what am I doing? I'm understanding. That's
Right.
that's what this all is.
Yeah.
And like I felt after Disclosure Day ended, that landed with me. And I think there is an argument to be made for sure. The people that dislike this movie, including yourself, of like, you know, it did feel like it advertised itself a bit on this sci-fi thriller, almost mystery. Like in the trailer, they kind of make it out to seem like there's this, like we're gonna find out. Like there's gonna be this lore. Like Steven has this lore on his head, and it's laid out, and we're gonna be like, holy shit, that was fucking insane. I don't think that's what he wanted to do. I think his intention was to make you feel, was to make you question, like, if like extraterrestrials were here, like what would that actually do to us? And a lot of people have responded to this film saying that it was bullshit. Like the ending, it just like that wouldn't happen. People wouldn't just automatically believe. Which, by the way, I don't think the movie even says that. Like the movie doesn't really tell you how the human race responds. It's literally the last line of the movie is literally listen, which is the whole point. That's understanding. I'm not saying that I have to agree with this alien or that we're not going to blow this alien to smithereens. I'm going to listen, which like nowadays is such an important message to hear because everybody is so divisive. And like, I mean, even in the movie itself, like they set it up like the world's kind of on the brink of
On the brink of
catastrophe.
World War
There's,
III.
like,
Yeah.
North Korea, which by the way, again, I love because to me, that shows the aliens being like, okay, like they had obviously like Josh O'Connor's character, Daniel, and they, you know, activated him per se. And like the way I think of it is like they realize the aliens, oh wait, we can't just have the knowing, we have to also have a vessel for understanding. And that's when they activate Emily Blunt's character because they realize the world's on the brink. Like there's little things like that where I put together and I'm like, this is really cool and this works for me. And then I watched Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and again, I'm not gonna say anything. It literally like was like a bow. It just tied everything together with Disclosure Day, with that, even with E.T. Like it made me start thinking about E.T. in my head. I'm like, the way the government, that's
Very
the
similar.
knowing.
The
The
government control thing
trying to
is
suppress
ET. Yeah.
Right, and what's
Purely
Elliot?
ET.
Elliot is pure understanding. Why?
Like the wonder,
because
yeah.
kids are the most empathetic. Kids are there's a pure they haven't been corrupted by the world in a sense, right? And so they have this idea of like, no, like I love this creature is scared. And a lot and like I want to protect it. And I thought that's what was really profound, honestly, about Disclosure Day. And this is why it worked for me, dude, is that ending real, where you have the newscast showing the Roswell tapes and all these things, and like the aliens look like the aliens that you and I grew up like
Yeah,
understanding.
little
how
green
aliens
men, like
look
little
and their
green
heads and stuff
men,
like that.
kind of little gray alien guys.
That was like I've heard criticism of that. People are like, oh, the aliens looked really generic, and I'm like, I think that was the
didn't hate that.
point.
Yeah, I felt like that was the
think
point. That was
like,
intentional.
That was the point. Was like it's supposed to be kind of based in our reality of like what
Yeah.
we think aliens would
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
It's not
100%.
gonna be which like
Same thing. There's UFOs.
yeah.
There's like it does the opposite of Arrival, where it's like I want this to relate to everybody by giving them the most generic looking alien, UFOs, flashing lights in the sky. Whereas in Arrival, it's the complete opposite. It's a fucking floating egg ship, and the aliens look like hands, but that's really just their legs and their like weird extensions. Like their language is circles. Like very, very completely opposite. And both I think done so intentionally. I think my main other issue with it I think in general is not just the overall messaging. Like I know one of the things I said to you when it ended was like I didn't like that it's it's disclosure day and we seemingly get no disclosure. It's just like aliens are real, humans can know about them, but what would happen? And I feel like that's been done better before. I just want to compare. I want to shout out Westworld season 3 because it is not the best season of television, but I want to jump back to that real quick because I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. I know if anybody else watching hasn't seen it, but they do a really cool thing with revealing like AI and being in control of people's lives and things like that. Do like this cool reveal of it in the finale of the 3rd season, and that to me was super impactful and done a lot better because it actually super similar to how this is done here, where you're seeing it broadcast over the news and stuff, and you're getting people's reactions on their phones, and then you're getting the other characters like watching it unfold as they're on the scene of it happening. And I think it's done better there, and I think it's also because you don't know what the twist is going to be. Like this, and again, this might be an issue with the marketing and all that and whatever, but going back to my point from earlier, I think it could have been a little bit more effective, I think, if you were learning about the reveal with the main characters. And I don't want to like harp on that point too much because what I want to talk about was that I also feel like throughout, I just felt like the film overall was overly boring and overly cheesy. I don't know. I just think the whole like characters on the run thing didn't work a ton for me in this. I don't know if it's because how the main characters were written. I don't think they were very enjoyable and very like relatable. Like off the rip, actually, there's the moment when the Cardinal comes in the thing and Emily Blunt, like the wind hits her and she's like, and she sits down and starts speaking in Russian. I'm like, this is so corny. Like maybe it's just me. It might just be it didn't work for me, which is, could be totally fair. I just felt like it was so like hammed up, so corny. Emily Blunt's character is like going off the rails. She doesn't know what's happening to her, but like she's speaking other languages, doing other things. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about, huh? And it's just, I don't know. To me, it felt like that's just like a Spielberg tone thing that I think doesn't always work for me. Like, I think compare that to Indiana Jones, compare that to occasionally in Jaws, compare that to like E.T. Like when he does lighter stuff, that maybe is geared more towards children. Like I know he has Schindler's List, he has Saving Private Ryan. Those are both like super heavy. But when it's like that cornier tone and it shows up in Indiana Jones, like I'm okay with that. This is a fun action adventure that's something the whole family can enjoy. But when that type of tone is popping up and those type of like jokes and bits and tendencies are popping up in a movie that should be a lot more serious or at least doesn't feel like it carries that same type of tone to it, that's when I'm like, this is taking me out of the movie. Like there's a lot of scenes like that throughout. And yeah, overall, I just think like the characters on the run thing from the government is something that has been done before. Not super interested by it. They're just leaking information. So yeah, and none of the performances wowed me. Coleman Domingo was good, but even
wow, really,
he was good. And I like Josh O'Connor. But
I think Emily Blunt should get an Oscar nom.
See, I didn't love Emily. Like she was
I thought
fine.
she was phenomenal.
And I don't think it was her fault.
Phenomenal.
I don't think it was her fault. Like my issue with it is not her. I think it's like what she was given to work with in the script. Like one of the scenes, dude, when she leaves the thing and they're like, "Don't let her leave the compound," and people just keep coming up to her like one by one, and she's like, "I used to love our summers in the lake." That was terrible.
I love that.
That was so corny. It was so bad.
And see, that's the thing, though. I think this is where the separation is. I think if you're thinking of this film in normal sci-fi movie terms, like normal sci-fi thriller terms, it does not hit those marks. I think this is literally a personal exploration of this sweet old man's lifelong obsession.
See,
with aliens,
it just feels like it was made by an old man, and that's why I think it's like corny and feels like an old man wrote it. So I think that's why.
So that's it. I think that's it. I loved that. And I can understand, especially nowadays, like earnestness and being that sincere can come across as just overly sentimental. It just worked for me, and I think that's the separation. I think a lot of people that didn't like the movie, that's it. It just, those moments were laughable, whereas like for me and the people that really liked it, it really hit us. Like we I think that's what it is. I think it's just expectations versus reality in a way. Like again,
and I think
just
trying
to understand
storytelling style. No, I agree with you. I think it's like storytelling style too, because it's like when you said like you laugh and stuff at moments that like maybe aren't supposed to be funny. Like there were a couple moments where I like that when she's like, we used to go to the lake house, and then there'd be like, I always loved you like my son. And it's just panned, and all of a sudden she's like an old man. Like I laughed out loud in the theater.
Yeah,
and like that's not the intention.
I loved it.
But I was like, what the hell is this?
And I know, I adored it. To me, it felt like it was so cool because in all these sci-fi movies, those kind of government people normally would just bulldoze through these people. It would just be like, no, fuck you. We're both. I love this movie because it's like, no, you can't. Like you could say to yourself, oh no, I'm not gonna, just because I see my family member, I'm not gonna fucking lie.
No.
It's the actual like, wait a second, and I think that's what Steven's saying is when we actually see the thing, it will change us, and I think that's what he was trying to say at the end was like, hey, like it's gonna change us one way or other. It's up to us. How do we react? Like, do we combine what we know with what we understand, and come together and but move forward the fucking human race? Because like right now in like reality, it feels like we're in this limbo. Like our world right now is in a state of disarray. And watching this movie to me gave me this sense of hope that like I really haven't felt from a movie in a while. Like I genuinely, because it made me think about us and humanity and extraterrestrials and like life outside of this world. And it just made me think, I'm like, man, like there is a path. I know it doesn't feel that way right now, but I think there is a path to understanding, or is a path to connection and unification in the world. There is. I just think it does take those things, and it's not easy. Like I think the like understanding and knowing is that is a tough balance to do. I mean, that's Steven's whole filmography feels like it's this combination. And by the way, I forgot to mention it before, that interview when the guy said, "Hey, like Steven, like that's your mom and your dad," and like at the end, I almost spoiled it. Not gonna do it. Thank God I caught myself. But like Steven literally froze and was in a state of shock during the round table. He was like, I never put that, like he had epiphany live on stage. He's like, I never put that together. And it literally like changed the way he saw his entire filmography and his entire career. And I think this movie is the period at the end. It's like, no, this is my thesis statement. This is what I believe. And like, yeah, it is as sentimental, not even sentimental, it is as sincere, it is as earnest as it gets. And there are going to be people that hate it and do not click with it. And there's going to be those moments where like, right, the faces pop up and it's just like, oh, what the fuck are we doing, Steven?
Yeah, it just feels goofy,
but there are,
but it has to work for you, like we're saying. Like, I think if you're okay with that, like earnestness, like that corny, like charm, I think that like can come with a Spielberg film. Like if that works, like, again, I'm not somebody that superly enjoys a Spielberg movie. Like I like Jaws, I like Jurassic Park, I like Saving Private Ryan. Like I like those. There's other ones that I'm just like, whatever. I think though, if that tone works for you and that style works for you, that's like is the make or break point of the film. Like either you feel at the end like what you're getting, the message that you're getting and being understanding versus knowing and all that, like which I actually really like. Like you kind of opened my brain up to that a little bit, knowing the understanding versus knowing thing. But I think like if you understand his tone and understand and or like at least click, like it clicks for you, the tone he's going for and the style of storytelling he's doing, and you're okay with that and you enjoy that and like are having fun and you get the message, then I think you like it. And I think if you're like me, like I'm expecting maybe something a little bit more on the same realm as like Arrival. Like Arrival's a bit more serious, like a lot more serious, a lot more like that. And I think I walk away from Arrival with the same sentiment. Like I feel good about humanity and like all those kind of things after watching Arrival, and the human capability to understand and move forward and progress like as a species. I get that from Arrival. Even like a little bit from Project Hail Mary, but that's like different. That's a lot more fun, goofy family fun. But yeah, I think either you click with it or you don't. kind of feels like what's
Yeah.
making this so controversial, and it feels like it's not just a narrative thing or like a story thing. It feels like it's just a general like vibe slash like do I enjoy this type of style of Spielberg, or do I not want to be in that? Do I want to have like a more serious sci-fi tone?
For me. But yeah, no, dude, this was honestly a really fun combo. I was excited to talk about this because I was
Me
like,
too.
we did have different opinions, but like I had like watched like reviews both positive and negative, and I felt like on both sides, I feel like I didn't get a lot out of them. I was like, nah, like there's something else about this movie that's like there's something nagging at me that I can't really articulate. And now I feel like we've had this combo, and I'm like, I feel like I get it.
Yeah,
I
I feel like the
that
real the disconnect really comes down to, do you vibe with the style of Spielberg, or at least like Spielberg in this film and some of his other ones, like do you get connected to that, or do you get turned off by the corniness of it, or do you buy in?
Right.
Like it feels like it hits a point in the movie where it's like, are you buying in or are you checking out? And it's like,
Right.
you bought in, I checked out, and like
Right.
that's not me
It's
saying I
you-
checked out, the movie sucks, like I'm out on it. I don't like
Right.
the movie, but I'm saying like
Yeah.
I didn't just sit there and be like, okay, this movie is gonna suck. Like I was like, I don't know, I'm not feeling it. I'm just not really feeling it, and I think
That's totally fair.
Yeah,
That's I think what I said before about like you either meet the movie where it's at or
Yeah,
you want the
exactly.
movie to come to you.
You
I think
compromise
you
for it or
were
not.
you were trying to meet the movie where it's at. I
was.
think there's a lot of people that hate on this movie that are like purposefully just obtuse about it and are kind of just like
Yeah.
they're so close by it too. They're just like I don't know, fucking Spielberg's a boomer or fucking
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever. Like and they're not even trying to get anything out of it. And I think that's where like when I watched those reviews I was like that's not it. Connor's gonna give me the real deal, and you know what? You did.
yeah.
And
Hey, thanks, man.
Bravo, my friend.
You gave me the real deal too, because I knew
Honestly,
going
like-
in, I was like, I know you're gonna make me feel different about some parts of it. Like I'm gonna be like, oh, that actually is pretty good, and I knew you were
And I
gonna
will
make me
say,
feel that
like-
way as well.
Like I said before, dude, Close Encounters like legitimately it cleared things up like so much. Like I feel like the whole knowing and understanding thing really didn't click for me until I watched that movie,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, like there's
That might help me. That might make
things
me feel a little
in
bit differently
balance.
about it. You know?
Yeah, and shout out Coleman Domingo, our guy. Like,
Our
we've
guy,
been
literally
fans of
our
him
guy.
for a while.
We've been riding
Let me
with
tell
him
you something.
since, what is it? Rise of the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking
Fear
Dead.
the Walking Dead.
Riding with him since then.
Just so cool, dude. And I loved seeing him in the Spielberg movie as like this character. I was like, that was really well casted. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say he gave like an incredible performance because
No, but it was just like-
really in it enough. But for what he like did in the movie, I'm like, dude, he did,
say
like that
this,
monologue scene nailed it.
I'll say this though: what thing is he casted in? That's a bad casting for him. The
That's
guy could
actually
do
a really
anything.
good
The guy could literally do anything. To be
I
honest,
literally like
have
he's
not
got
seen
an
something
Oscar.
he's in where I'm like, wow, that was kind of lackluster. Like even this, I didn't like the movie, and I'm like, he was still really good.
Yeah,
He's still
like,
awesome.
he was one of the bright spots.
He's got
Also,
so much
Colin
power.
Firth. Also, Colin Firth. Shout out
Yeah.
Colin Firth. I really like.
Yeah, he's
I was a little bit iffy about like the cat. I really like in some of those moments. I was like,
You just
he's
like
acting
this
his fucking
movie.
ass off, dude. Oh, it's like I like this movie or something.
It's like you like this movie or
it's like
something.
I like this.
Well, I am glad though. I am
love
glad
it.
you did like it
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And look, honestly, like the fact that we got to have this good combo was dope. I think a lot of people nowadays, even with movie reviews, they won't want to do this. Like people be like, "Oh, you have different pay me."
yeah, they
How
just
dare
shit
you
on it
like a
together.
movie
Like, I feel like
different-
they never argue and do the back and forth.
It's hive mind, right? It's hive mind.
Right.
It's they're all like ganging up on it. They're not actually having a back and forth, which
Exactly.
that's where understanding comes from.
And knowing,
Bitch.
wow,
And knowing
oh, bing bong,
and recording
and
off
and
air.
roll credits. All
And roll the credits.
right, well, guys, thank you so much for hanging with us today and listening to us talk to how much I hate Disclosure Day, how much Sean loves it. Stay tuned because we got more stuff coming your way. We got Obsession talk, we got Backrooms talk, we got more and more films talk coming your way. So be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more.